Well, good morning. Good morning, everyone. I just feel like I'm full. I just feel so blessed by the music, by Katie, by the daily word, by how I was greeted at the door, by everyone, all the conversation that's going on. It's like, but I don't think I'm allowed to go home yet. Katie did mention that I've been here, I come here once a year to hang out with your leadership team, which includes your board of directors and the spiritual leadership team. And we work hard. This is not a holiday. We spent 4 more hours on Friday. We spent 6 or more hours yesterday, and just really got a chance to learn and get to know Anna, who is one of your latest board members. Pearl was not able to join us. And just I mentor or am involved with many, many ministries, and I have to say you are in very good hands. Please thank your group. So today we're talking about love. Love, love, love. I want to take a poll. Anyone here love chocolate? Yeah. A couple people. I'm one of those odd people who does not like chocolate. How about the color blue? Anybody love the color blue? Sure, there's people who do that. What about our best friend or a partner or a pet? Yeah. What do we love? Being in nature? Yes. How about the weather? Do we love that? Yeah. Yeah. So look at this amazing word. What is this word love? We use it a lot. We sing it in our songs. We have it in our prayers. When we say goodbye to someone, you hear it all the time. Love ya. We say that, right? And in our English language, there is one word, love, that encompasses all of those situations: chocolate, blue, the weather. Covers profound situations, superficial situations, from universal to personal. No wonder there is so much confusion about this word love. And I was confused. I'm still confused, but anyway, I'm a little clearer now in my heart and my mind. And I'm going to share some of those thoughts with you today. But, it would work out. You know how Advent, one of the Sundays is love? And we do a rotation, and it's like, guess who gets to talk about love? Like, I don't want to talk about love. I don't know what love is. And then, lo and behold, I'm here on Mother's Day. So I get to talk about love again. But I'm learning a lot. So let's just narrow it down a little bit. For one thing, today we're going to be talking about divine love, right? One of the spiritual gifts that we're born with, part of our divine nature. Divine love is not something that we create. We don't need to find it anywhere. We don't need to get more of it. Infinite love lives within us. Infinite love. There is no more love somewhere else that we can access. We have it all within us, every moment, every breath, every day. So one of the ways that's been helpful for me to get a grasp on this word that we use for everything is to look at divine love like a spectrum, the pure white light that goes through the crystal and then displays all of these different colors, different vibrations, different energy, right? Divine love also has a multitude of expressions. So I'm going to see if we can name some of them. And I'll start with a few. Patience is an expression of love. Kindness, generosity. What else? Understanding. Compassion. Yeah. Listening. Yes, listening is an expression of love. Relationship. Yeah, connection. Play. Yes. Yay. Harmony. Harmony. Yeah. Holding space. Being present. Coherence. Here's my little list. Humility, courtesy, unselfishness, sincerity, tenderness, compassion, caring, acceptance, openness, forgiveness, respect, humor, laughter. All of these are expressions of love. So perhaps if we are wanting to activate our love power a little bit more, we could just focus on one of these instead of saying, today I'm just going to be more loving. That's a little ambiguous in my mind anyway, and doesn't give me any really clear direction. So perhaps we could just focus on one of those aspects of divine love and look for the opportunities to bring that into our daily experience. We can drive with courtesy. We can go to the grocery store with patience. We can go for a walk with humility. These are all expressions of divine love. We do it to bring goodness into the world, and we do it for ourselves. Eric Butterworth, a beloved Unity minister and author, he says this: loving is keeping in the flow of the cosmic process. It's letting your light shine, keeping the light turned on, not because the world needs the light, and it probably does. Not because your family needs the light, and they probably do, but because you need to keep your love light turned on. Since we are one with the universal creation, with each other, with this divine cosmic creation that we're part of, what we do for others, we are doing for ourselves at the same time. There is no separation in our actions. Charles Fillmore, co-founder of Unity, said a lot about love. And he said this in about 1904, which I think is quite remarkable. He said, gravity is humankind's name for love. Without love, we should lose contact with our Mother Earth, and losing that, we should fly off into space. He also said that love is not something we do. It is the setting free of a natural, equalizing, harmonizing force. It is setting free a natural, equalizing, harmonizing force. So I'm going to look at those three words. I think they're really profound. Natural. Well, one of the first things that comes to me when I read this is that if I am working hard and really trying to be loving, I'm already out of alignment with it. So when I recognize that, which is kind of what the journey is all about, right? Recognizing more and more quickly when we're out of alignment with what our true nature is, who we really are. When I recognize that, then I know it's time to pause and to step back and to perhaps breathe a moment and recenter myself in this natural harmonizing power. We are setting free a force, not trying to make something happen. There is no goal, there is no outcome, there are no expectations. Like, well, if I'm more loving to you, then maybe you'll be nicer to me. Or if I send my neighbor some love, maybe they will stop blocking my driveway or something like that. No, we are freeing a force, freely expressed. So let's not interfere with the power of love, which is holding this whole universe together. Let's not interfere with it with our preconceived notions of what it can do or how it will change someone or how it will change something. Let's not limit it in any way. This is the force that holds the whole universe in place. So let's get out of the way and let it do its thing. That's natural. What about equalizing? Well, we know very much we've felt this. When we come to a place of equilibrium, everything is at rest. There's no effort, right? We're centered in the oneness consciousness. When things are out of balance, equilibrium, then there's chaos and there's disorder and there's confusion. Love is an equalizing power, means we give it to everyone and everything equally. And at this time when there is a tendency to divide and separate people, a time that focuses on differences and not the commonalities, this is critical. Where is our oneness when we only see our differences? In the Gospels, there's a story where Jesus is teaching, and there's a huge crowd, and somebody comes up to him and says, "Hey, Jesus," maybe they said that, "Hey, Jesus, your mother is here, your brother is here." And he says, "Who is my mother? Who is my brother?" He was not dismissing his family, as some people think. They missed the point, the teaching. He was trying to show that we are one family. There is no them in us. This kind of oneness transcends biological ties. I'm going to tell a quick story. As Katie mentioned, I'm from Unity, Victoria, and so we we have this wonderful woman, 95 or something, and every Sunday she would come with her little pillbox hat and her little coat with a rabbit fur collar and her little matching handbag, and she had these little high heels, and click, 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 she'd come down the aisle. And then one morning, someone was sitting in her seat. And so she looks, and I'm a couple of rows up. She goes, "Well, I might as well just go home." And she starts to turn, and I jump out of my seat, and I went, Iris, wait a minute, come here. I said, "Look, there's a seat right here, just one row up. And you can sit next to Katie." And so she, "Okay, I'll sit down there." And I got up and I thought, I would hope that if that was my grandmother, that someone would treat her like that, right? And all of a sudden, I just saw everyone there, everyone that was older than me, my grandmothers and grandfathers, everyone that was the same age as me, my brothers and my sisters, all the ones that were younger than me, my nieces, nephews, sons or daughters, one family. Not about biological ties. So this is, when Jesus says this is an example of unity consciousness. Not our unity, but universal unity, cosmic oneness. There is no them and us. So may we see everyone as spiritual beings worthy of love. No one is outside the realm of divine love, only if we put them there in our hearts. I read a story during World War II in France. Many soldiers were killed, died, and there was a few close to this village, soldiers that were deceased. And so people went to the parish, to the priest, and said, "Can we bury them?" And he said, "Are they Catholic?" "Well, some of them are, some of them aren't." "Well, the ones that are Catholic can be buried in the cemetery and not the others." He said, "Just bury them just outside the cemetery fence." Wait a minute. He had to do that. That's what the law was. Only Catholics are buried in the cemetery. The next thing he did is he ordered the wall to be taken down, rebuilt, going around those graves. So they were all together. This is the way we need to think, to not let something that stops us, and blocks us, a perception of being blocked, that we cannot express and be the love that we are. Natural equalizing, and the last one is harmonizing. So we've all heard musicians and singers play their instruments together. If one is out of tune, what do we hear? Ouch, yeah. And what do we experience when it all works together? Joy, right? Satisfaction, peace. When you are expressing divine love, you are contributing to the atmosphere of harmony. So how exactly are we going to do that? Back to Charles Fillmore. So listen carefully, I'm going to say this twice. He says, "Do not be afraid to pour out your love upon all the so-called evil in the world. Declare that what seems evil has somewhere a good side, which shall, through your persistent affirmation of its presence, be made visible. Do not be afraid to pour out your love upon all the so-called evil of the world. Declare that what seems evil has somewhere a good side, which shall, through our persistent affirmation of its presence, be made visible. The more we bring love into our conscious awareness, the stronger it grows in us. So do not be afraid to pour out your love. We are tapping into an infinite divine source. We cannot use it up. We can continuously draw from this source every hour, every moment, each day. He says, declare that everything has a good side. So how do I know this? That good is present everywhere? It's our first unity principle. One presence, one power, all good, everywhere. And that means within each and every one of us, no exceptions. You know the song, what the world needs now is love, sweet love, not just for some, but for everyone. Yes. Really? Everyone? Everyone? That sounds daunting, doesn't it? Easy to love babies, puppies, our friends, those people that agree with us, the people that like us, no problem. Those people that we label good, easy to love. What about your neighbor with the noisy parties? What about the person who banged your fender in the parking lot and didn't leave a note? What about the person who opened fire on a crowd of people? Those responsible for displacing thousands of innocent people, what about them? I'm not saying that good is always visible. In some cases, I'm not even expecting that I will see it in my lifetime. But I know it is there, and I will continue in my persistent affirmation of its presence, always. There is a saying, the seed never sees the flower. So we are reaping now what others and what we have sowed in the past. We may never see the harvest of what we are planting now. But does that matter? Should that stop each one of us from being the most exuberant fountain of love that we can possibly be? As we become beacons of light, we attract other beacons. And I just so honored to be here today with a new member ceremony. Yeah, that was so special. So as we become beacons of light, we attract other beacons, right? But love does not end there. When we beam our love light out everywhere we go to everyone we see, slowly there is less and less room for anything other than love. Not by pushing, not by shaming, not by intimidation. Love spreads naturally like the light. A candle does not fight the darkness. It just does what its nature is to do. And so does love. I'm not saying this is easy. It can be very challenging. Sometimes I need help to see the divinity in another person. So there's a song I really love. That was the title, Love is My Decision. And there's a line in that song that is one of my anchors. So profound, I use it regularly when I'm up to this challenge. How do I recognize the divine in everyone? How do I live my life so that no matter what, I can still be a beacon of light? And the line is this: once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Once I decide, like the priest, right? Then he was shown, I have an idea. We're just going to put the fence around all the graves, right? Once I decide to change my mind, once we just admit that we're having a problem seeing the divinity in everyone or whatever, it's not just about this topic. I use this all the time. But once I decide to change my mind, then I will be shown the way. If I'm open, if I'm willing, if I can take down the barriers that I've put up around my heart that keeps me from seeing the other, there is no other. It's my choice always. I can decide to hold on to my old consciousness, or I can make room and invite Spirit to show me the way, a new way. It is possible to hold the intention of divine light, love in your heart, to persistently bring it alive through your thoughts, words, and deeds, to be the one who brings heaven to earth. Namaste.